What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video here on Pig City Hockey. Now, before we get into talking about this awesome win that just occurred against the Minnesota Wild, I gotta touch upon that 3-1 loss that happened a couple days ago to the Chicago Blackhawks on Valentine's Day. I made a community post saying that I wasn't going to be covering it. It was a little later in the evening. I probably should have said that later. But honestly, guys, I'll just summarize the post for you. With work, with school, and the fact that it was Valentine's Day, I didn't want to force myself to watch a Jets game, rush around town, get back to my house, record a video and all that. I know that might sound lazy, but in reality, it's just because I didn't have the energy and I didn't want to throw out a half-cocked video and just have it, be on my channel and just be this mediocre video for a mediocre team that lost a really bad game to a really bad opponent. So what I'm going to do is quickly cover that game in like a minute synopsis. So basically, that Chicago Blackhawks loss, it's a loss we've seen about a dozen times this season. It's when we played down to an opponent. It's where we didn't play a complete game. We had moments where we looked good, but in reality, we just never, ever really got ahead. Not to mention the fact that Marc-Andre Fleury was great in that game. There were just a lot of bad components working against the Jets, but in reality, it wasn't just the fact that the Chicago Blackhawks were outworking the Jets. The Jets just weren't outworking themselves. They were kind of settling. They were just being content with where they were in that game, and in reality, that's why they didn't win it. And then you come into this game against the Minnesota Wild, a much tougher opponent, another Central Division rival. We've had so many of late. These are must-win games, and you win 6-3 in a really, really weird fashion, because let's not forget the fact that for about the first period and half of the second period, the Winnipeg Jets did not even deserve to be in this game. They were playing like they had the lead. They were content with almost everything. They were barely leaving the body and leaving the zone with the puck. They fumbled it constantly. Minnesota just looked so much more superior out there on the ice tonight for a majority of that first half of this game. But I don't know what clicked in the Winnipeg Jets' head, but I would say probably after the second Mark Scheifele goal in the second period, that's kind of when you had things really start to pick off, because Mark Scheifele scores with about, I believe it's 30 seconds left in that period, in the second period, and the Winnipeg Jets take the lead. Now, that's huge. It's a huge momentum to have going into the third period. We all know what that can bring in any sport if you have the lead going into the final 20 minutes. It's important, but the big thing that the Jets have to overcome isn't the fact that they have a lead. It's not even maintaining the lead. It's actually just maintaining a consistent play of hockey. It doesn't matter if the Jets win or lose, in my opinion, in this game, because all they had to do was at least show that they could go toe-to-toe with a team like Minnesota. And tonight, they showed exactly that. This is everything that you would want from a game against Minnesota. This showed that the Jets could battle. They were outplayed at times, but they battled, they dug deep, and they did what it took to win. Just like we saw with that game, with these games we've seen recently, going back to the Comrie game in St. Louis, as it was a great start of what it took for a whole team win. This whole kind of narrative that the Jets have had all season long is that they haven't been a team, a cohesive team. They've had just, some star players here and there. But tonight, what really happened is that their stars showed up. And I'm going to give credit to where credit's due. I still don't think Mark Scheifele is necessarily an amazing player and back on his way to being that consistent guy we saw in the past. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I'm not going to judge right now, because honestly, with the way the Jets team has been, the consistency issue is just everywhere. So I'm not going to judge Mark Scheifele on a hot streak and say he's saved and the rest of his career will be golden. But this is still great to see. You could tell. I don't know what it is or what finally made Mark Scheifele snap, but all the criticism, maybe the trade rumors finally actually being kind of confirmed and possibly starting to creep up on him within the organization, maybe that was his awakening. I don't know what the situation is with Mark Scheifele. None of us really do, but what comes down to is he had a hat trick tonight, and not only did he have a hat trick, but he was just great in general. When you look over the point totals tonight, wow, that's all I can say. Blake Wheeler, a vintage Blake Wheeler night, 4 assists, 4 points. Paul Stastny had that empty net goal. He gets a point as well. Not to mention the fact that when you look at what Mark Scheifele was able to do tonight, 4 points, 3 goals, and an assist. Pierre-Luc Dubois having a great game as well, being a +2. Kyle Connor on that great breakaway goal. Cole Perfetti with a goal and an assist tonight. A great goal deflection shot from Nate Schmidt in the third period. And then again with a great feed of a turnover in the Jets' own end from the blue lines, from the defense, Minnesota Wild's defense, and then the Jets just really capitalized on that. Perfetti gives a great uphead pass to Kyle Connor, and it just, everything felt right in that moment. And then even then, there were moments where like, oh my god, what's going to happen? Because then Max Zuccarello comes in that third period, and you're thinking, okay, they've scored, Zuccarello's made it 4-2. There's like 10 minutes left. This is anyone's game still. Minnesota's had a good game tonight. They've made some costly mistakes, but then again, the Jets made some costly mistakes too. Because can you imagine if Connor Hellebuck learned how to play in his net and never leave it? Because if we had any bad puck luck tonight, there could have been 4 goals turned over by Connor Hellebuck tonight. 4 goals. I'm sorry, I love that man, I love that Vezina winner, but there is no way you can be an NHL goaltender and turn the puck over 4 times and put the other team in scoring position with an empty net. You escaped tonight with that one, the Jets, in that category. So, yeah, they're lucky that they got away with that one, but the thing is, the overall arcing theme of this game was that they made mistakes. They weren't perfect. But they learned from that, battled back, let those mistakes kind of be there, but find a way to compromise with those mistakes and play a better game of hockey. That's all you can ask for if you're a Jets fan at this point. This game doesn't make me feel like, the playoff hopes are alive, even though they technically are. This game doesn't, send me through the roof. This game doesn't make me want to run down to the liquor store and grab a 24-pack and start partying on a Wednesday night. This game makes me think that the Jets might have something left in the tank, but then the overall arcing issue that's followed this season has been consistency. We've seen it. We said the same thing when Eric Comrie had that great game against St. Louis. We said the exact same thing just in the last couple of weeks when you go looking back the Nashville game, for example. Blake Wheeler's 5-point night. That was a great team win, but then what happens after that? You get lose to the Chicago Blackhawks 3-1 where you're outplayed and you just don't have the heart and motivation to beat a lesser team. The Jets have consistency issues. Tonight, they overcame those consistency issues, but again, will that overall bleed into the rest of the games in the schedule? I don't know. It's really hard to say. I don't think any analyst can. I don't think even the players can. I think what it really comes down to is every game we go in, we're going to be seeing a potentially different Jets team at this point. Are we going to see the team that we've seen all season long, or are we going to see this kind of new and improved or more awake version of the Jets where they're actually trying to win, give a shit about something, and not just out there, playing 60 minutes of hockey to go back on the bus and go back to their house? Like, this game, not only for the fact that Winnipeg has now opened up their attendance regulations, everything's back at full capacity, I believe 100% now, if not at least 50%, but I'm pretty sure it's 100. I don't live in Manitoba, but I know out here that's changing in BC. I know in Ontario it's changing. The country's opening up again, which is great. You want to get people in that building and get them excited, especially in Winnipeg right now with the season and also the COVID run that they've had. This is a great game for the city when it comes to the fact that they beat a tough team, a divisional rival, a big rival, one of their, actually, if not the Jets' biggest rival in the modern day NHL is the Minnesota Wild. And you play a great game where you learn from your mistakes and you adapt with those mistakes still being in your play. That's all you can ask for if you're the Jets at this point. You don't need them to be this amazing team that's going to rattle off 14 wins. Even though we'd all love to see it, what we need to see is consistency. We didn't get that consistency in the loss 48 hours ago from the Blackhawks. Think about that. 48 hours ago, we lost to the Blackhawks. Maybe a little bit longer. I don't know my internal clock right now, and I don't remember the game time, but nonetheless, you can't go from playing that shitty against a worse team to being this resilient against a team in the playoffs. You cannot make the playoffs doing that. You have to win games. You have to at least push them to overtime, get the points in this race. And yes, I'm very happy that the Jets won this game because I got to enjoy hockey again. Like, the Nashville game was great. And then we went to a shitty game against Chicago on Valentine's Day. Thank God there were other things going on that day that made me enjoy it. Because when the Jets lose and play like that, it's upsetting. Because not the fact that we lost, but because we played so poorly. Tonight, we didn't play poorly. Yes, we had a bad first period and about half of that second period. But after that, we dominated. We fixed our mistakes and we got better. Mark Scheifele led by example tonight and has been for a while. He's been on fire for a while. There'll be a video coming out on Mark Scheifele probably actually either tomorrow or the day after. So stay tuned for that. But nonetheless, the Jets are setting themselves up for improvement. Whether or not it's going to stick is the big question. We talked about that in the Nashville game, and I think it kind of all bleeds over into this game. I feel like that Nashville game, the way that I felt and everything like that, it translated over to this game as well. Because I feel happy. I feel cautiously optimistic, just like I felt in Nashville. But what it comes down to is, can the Jets consistently play a version of this hockey and play at least a full 60? Because again, tonight, you got lucky in an extent because you played a bad first period. You didn't play a full 60. You had some really, really bad, ugly turnovers from your goaltender that didn't result in empty net goals, even though they easily could have. The Jets got to get some things under control still, right? We know that. But in a win like this, when there's so many positives and some negatives, I think this is actually a kind of a great scenario for the Jets because, yes, they get the win in that room. They know what these problems were because they've been evident all season long, and they were able to win with these problems tonight against a tough team. They're going to have to shore things up. They're going to have to play tighter. We know this is a fact. But when you win a game like this, a resilient game, and you have these negatives that have followed you all season long, and you were able to overcome them in this game, that's how you can snap out of a streak. I don't know if the Jets will. Neither do you, so don't say anything, but we none of us do. I don't even think Dave Lowry or anyone in the ownership and everything right now can tell us about how the Jets are going to do. Because we all thought the Jets were going to be top 3 in the division at this point, competing for potentially a Stanley Cup run. We're not there right now. There's a lot of things we're going to have to overcome. But at the end of the day, we won against a tough team. We still have chance. Even though it's a small chance, we still have that small chance. And I'm still cautiously optimistic. Obviously, again, I lost some of that optimism against the last loss against the Blackhawks. But when you bleed, if you just eliminate that game and you bleed everything over from the Nashville game, there's a lot of positives and similarities at times, and that's good. Whether or not the Jets are just going to become great overnight like that, I don't think it happens. But at least there were some consistencies from that game bleeding into this game at times, even though there were still a bunch of overarching issues. At the end of the day, we won. That's all I can say, and I'm happy about that. And you should be too, because like I said, this is a good, constructive win. You can take a lot from this, not only because you won and can be happy, but because you can improve your game going forward when you look at the tape in this one. I think this game can really help the Jets out going in their next couple of games. I believe we play a back-to-back tomorrow, so I will see you guys for that as well. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, as always, on this video, on this Jets game. Let me know your thoughts, as always. Make sure to let me know what your favorite moment was from this game, because there were a lot of good moments. I'm pretty sure we're going to see a lot of Scheifele hat-trick comments, but I don't know. That Cole Perfetti goal was pretty nice too, and I love seeing him get 2 points. So with all that being said, peace, love, and positivity. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and all the other affiliated links down in the description below. Have a great rest of your night. Like I already said, peace, love, and positivity. And you know what we're about to end on. Go Jets go, baby!